Thank you for joining us here today for our Spotlight series. This month we are shedding a spotlight on a very important office today. So if you don't mind taking a moment to introduce ourselves and tell us the office that you are representing.
Sure, thanks for having me. My name is Laura Luciano, and I am the Interim Director at the Office for Violence Prevention and Victim Assistance, otherwise known as VPVA.
So what role does VPVA play within the university?
VPVA is the office that's designated to address issues of what we call interpersonal violence and other crimes. So interpersonal violence is sexual violence, dating violence or relationship abuse, stalking, harassment. We also address other areas of crime as well. And we really have four roles within the university community. The first is to look at policies. We look at policies and procedures that impact our students here at Rutgers, but also state and national legislation that might also impact student survivors. And we really focus on what makes the best sense and is most helpful for student survivors in that. We also do direct service, prevention programming, and awareness campaigns and education.
How does VPVA assist students who have experienced crime victimization?
So we do a few things around the area of crime victimization. So the first is that we offer 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week crisis response for our students and our campus community members who experience any form of sexual violence, relationship abuse, stalking, or harassment. And that is, they can call our office any time of day and they can be connected to a confidential crisis response advocate. Our advocates are both our staff at VPVA as well as volunteers who have been trained in a state mandated training to be able to offer services. And what we would do is first of all support that person, make sure that that person knows what their rights are, as well as the options that are available for them, both immediately and long term. And then if they decide that they want to engage in any of those systems that are based out of their options, we help them get there. So we would meet them at law enforcement if they decided they wanted to report to campus police. We could meet them at the hospital if they needed medical attention based on what happened to them. So it's all designed around what they're needing in that moment. We also provide ongoing advocacy, counseling, and support. So we provide individual counseling as well as we have a support group that runs. We also provide ongoing advocacy. So if someone needs assistance with academics because what happened to them is impacting their academics or their housing, or really any area that they're needing help with, ongoing support through any of the systems. And basically VPVA is there to help them with whatever they're needing.
How does your office educate students about issues on campus and raise awareness?
So we do a lot of educational and awareness programming throughout the year. So before your student even comes onto campus, they receive information through a program that's online that we support, as well as new student orientation. If they attend new student orientation, they'll get programming from us. And then throughout the entire academic year, we do a combination of both active and passive programs. Really, our programs are designed to raise awareness about the issues as well as what the resources are for students and how they can help. And so this looks different for each program. We try to reach the most students possible. So we have programs that are really active, that take active participation. So you're coming to a rally or you're attending an event that you're actively participating in. And then we have what we call passive programs for students who want to know information, but they maybe don't want to, they don't want to talk to other people, they don't want to have to do anything that's outside their comfort zone. So those events are, viewing our clothesline project, for example, or looking at one of our art projects, or seeing our posters on campus and then reacting to those. And so our goal is to really reach students wherever they are and help them get the information that they need.
What is your philosophy for prevention and how do you engage students?
So we utilize a primary prevention strategy called bystander intervention, and for many of you this won't be a new term or a new concept because bystander intervention gets used in a lot of different ways through life. a lot of K through 12 schools use bystander intervention. Some of them call it upstander intervention around issues of bullying. So we use it here to address interpersonal violence. And the concept of bystander intervention is that everybody in the community plays a role. Chances are that even though incident rates are high, most students will never be victimized and will never perpetrate these types of violence. So we really want to address everyone else on campus, right? We want to really highlight that everybody has a role in interrupting attitudes and behaviors that cause violence in the first place. And so we do this mostly through our peer education program called Scream Theater. We have a multi-session program that really helps students understand what bystander intervention is and then really work out how they can intervene in situations in a safe and effective way. And so the beauty of bystander intervention, it's getting everybody involved, and it's also meeting students where they are and where their comfort level is, but also encouraging them to challenge their comfort levels and to really be open to being advocates in this area. We also look at issues of tertiary prevention, that's addressing violence after it happens in a way that it won't be repeated. And so we do that through our programming. We're also focused a lot in the last year on engaging our male students in talking about healthy masculinity. One of the things that we've noticed is that the overall society really sends strong messaging about what masculinity is and what it means to be a man. And so we really want to talk with our students, our male-identified students, about what that means for them and how they can be really healthy male role models.
What's the best way for our parent and family members to support their Rutgers student if they feel they have an issue?
This is, I think, really important for parents and families to think about. And the first thing is to, if someone discloses to you to take a breath, because you're going to have your own feelings and thoughts about what happened, but also have to support your student. The very, very first thing I can recommend is for you to have a conversation with your student before something happens. And I think that as parents and family members, we can be having age-appropriate conversations with children and students of any age around these issues, around what consent means, what bodily autonomy means, and what healthy relationships look like. And that really sets the stage of these are the expectations we have of each other as we're engaging in relationships, as well as you are a person that's willing and able to talk about these issues. What I hear from a lot of people is, I couldn't talk to my parent, or I couldn't talk to my family member, or even my friend because I didn't think they were open to talking about it. So we want to set that stage. The second thing is, if someone does disclose to us that they had this experience, it's really important to be supportive and non-judgmental. And the first thing you can do is say, I believe you, and I care about you, and I'm going to support you. And then I think it's important to look at what resources are available both for yourself and for your student on campus here at Rutgers, as well as what your community resources are. And you can do that by visiting our website and find information, or calling our office and having a conversation with one of our staff members to help you kind of figure out what the best steps are for your student. And finally, if your student decides to take action in certain areas or not to take action in certain areas, it's important to remember that this is the decision of that person has already had their power and control taken away from them, and so we don't want to force them or try to convince them to do something that they don't want to do. So it's really important to be supportive of whatever decisions they make.
Laura, thank you very much for taking the time to shed some light on this important resource, and thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.